Hello, students, teachers, parents, history nerds. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nutshelled History, where we lay out the facts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We continue with our Modern World History series by looking at the Allies turn the tide. Don't forget that there's a link for a fill-in-the-blank worksheet in the description. Feel free to use it. I just ask that you like and subscribe. I apologize for any mispronunciations ahead of time. I do my best. All right, let's go. To defeat the Axis powers in World War II, the Allies devoted all their resources to the war effort. Governments took a greater role in the economy. For example, governments ordered factories to make tanks instead of cars. Consumer goods were rationed, and wages and prices were regulated. A positive result was that the increase in production ended the Great Depression. However, governments also limited citizens' rights, censored the press, and resorted to propaganda. In the United States and Canada, racial prejudice and concerns about security led to the internment or confinement during wartime of citizens of Japanese descent. At the same time, women, symbolized by Rosie the Riveter, replaced men in factories. Women also played a more direct role in some military operations. The years 1942 and 1943 marked the turning point of the war. In the Pacific, Allied forces won the battles of the Coral Sea and Midway. In both battles, attacks were launched from enormous aircraft carriers. In North Africa, British and American forces, led by General Dwight Eisenhower, soon trapped Rommel's army, and he surrendered in May 1943. With North Africa under their control, the Allies crossed the Mediterranean and landed in Sicily. Allied victories in Italy led to the overthrow of Mussolini, but fighting continued in Italy for another 18 months. On the Eastern Front, a key turning point was the Battle of Stalingrad. After a German advance on the city and brutal house-to-house fighting, the Soviet army encircled the German troops. Without food or ammunition, the Germans surrendered. On June 6, 1944, the Allies launched the D-Day invasion of France. Allied troops faced many obstacles, but the Germans finally retreated. As the Allies advanced, Germany reeled from incessant around-the-clock bombing. A German counterattack, the Battle of the Bulge, resulted in terrible losses on both sides. However, with Germany's defeat seeming inevitable, the Big Three, Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin, met to plan for the end of the war. Key features of this Yalta Conference were the Soviet agreement to enter the war against Japan and the division of Germany into 4 zones of occupation. However, growing mistrust at Yalta foreshadowed a split among the Allies. Okay, trust me, it's recap time. During World War II, the Allies put everything but the kitchen sink into defeating the Axis powers. Factories switched from making cars to crafting tanks, and consumer goods went the way of the dinosaur, thanks to rationing, while your local newspaper suddenly found itself under strict editing supervision. It wasn't all bad, though. The war effort kicked the Great Depression to the curb, and women, championed by Rosie the Riveter, stepped in to replace the men who were off fighting, all while the internment of Japanese Americans served as a not-so-fun reminder that the home front had its own battles. By 1943, the tide turned with key victories in the Pacific and Europe, and after a dramatic D-Day invasion, Allied forces pushed back against the Nazis, forcing them to retreat from France and contemplate their not-so-funny predicament. As the Big Three, leaders huddled at the Yalta Conference, they plotted the war's end while eyeing down the future like 3 untrusting roommates divvying up the last pizza slice, giving us a taste of the frosty relationship that would follow. There you have it, folks. That is the Allies turn the tide nutshelled. Thanks for stopping by Nutshelled History. Turn the tide on the fortunes of my channel by smashing those like and subscribe buttons. Come on, Allies would do that for each other. See y'all next time on Nutshelled History.